Hey, it's a Sunday morning. It's done the rain thing off and on all night. See if you can see over here. Yeah, I think the gutter needs to get cleaned out. We didn't get to this one. A couple others we didn't get to either. You see down there, especially if you look underneath the boom of the excavator, you see the creek. It's come up a bit. There's still a pump down there at the end of the power line. There's still pipe laid out. I've just been having visions of about, what was it? 22, 23, 24 years ago, somewhere in there. Maybe longer than that. It was in the mid-90s. I wasn't working on the farm at that point. I took a break. I was working in the woods. We were rained out. The Great Flood of '96. Water didn't get any higher right here than it did when I was a kid, but a lot of other places it got a lot higher. I ended up pulling the pump down there with a Honda four-wheeler. Couldn't get the tractor down there. Took me half the day. In the time frame from when I started to when I was done, you needed rubber shoes to go down there, to walk down there. When I was done, you needed hip waders. But I got the pump out, never flooded the bike out. It was right up to the edge of going into the air cleaner when I was coming back out with it. And that literally all happened in less than an hour. It went from just a couple inches of water on top of this down here in the bottom to 3 feet of water in less than an hour. So they're saying we're supposed to get the remains of a, how are they calling it, a bomb cyclone. It's supposed to hit today. The big thing they've been worried about is, oh my God, the winds. They're saying 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, 40 mile an hour gusts. That's less than our normal winds have been for the last 5 years. When I haven't figured this one out, we'll get 70 mile an hour gusts or 80 mile an hour gusts and 60 mile an hour winds. And they don't bother to put a warning out about that. Let's put a warning out about nothing. But it's been so long since we've had winds when it's been wet. The biggest thing they're making sure everybody knows is there's going to be a bunch of trees come down. I guarantee it, because the ground right now is, we haven't got that much rain, but it is just saturated at the top where all the roots are. Anyway, that's enough rambling this morning. That's pretty much my plan for the day. Other things, but definitely want to get the pump in because I don't need it waterlogged. And hopefully these girls aren't eating as much hay as they were. It's catch-22 when you're out on the really wet grass. They need more dry material to keep the stuff in them. So maybe if they're not on the wet grass, they'll slow down on eating. Otherwise, we're really going to run out of hay. But that's my story for this morning. And hey, Colton, you're right. That light's still on. Oh, here he goes this morning to say hi. It's still on because it's still dark. I mean, I can make everything out pretty good, but the camera brings it in like 3 times brighter than my eyeballs do. No, you wouldn't want to be driving down the road without your headlights on, put it that way. Well, the pump's not in the way no more. Still got to get the rest of this stuff out of here. And we used to have a 4-inch line. This is 5-inch. And the 4-inch held up to being hooked up and drug out. Last year when we did the 5-inch, if I remember right, we unhooked it, tied it off to the tractor, and lifted it up and out. Maybe I should have done that because I kinked her. Bigger than shit right there. Don't look like there's a hole in it, but need to try to straighten that up and maybe take another piece of 5-inch and cap about 5 feet of that to stiffen it up. It'd be nice if you could just pop them frickin' fit valves before you pull one out, but that's kind of hard to do until you turn it upside down and then let it open, if it'll open then. And give you an idea how far the creek is up. That stick that I put in when we started pumping, it was still there last time I was down here, so I don't think it got knocked out. I think it's still there. But I think I can see it. It's kind of in the middle of the screen, and that stuck up about a foot, and there's at least 6 inches of water over the top of it. Well, that tin barely made it to the edge of the water, and well, you can see where the end of the tin is there on the top. You can see how far up in it comes. So anyway, fun times. Definitely not a day you want to have to work across the creek. We're just going to lay that main line over against the pole and tie it to it. That's what we did last year, and it worked. As long as when the high water hits, it doesn't get too high and bring a log down. If it does, then it wipes out the line and we replace it, which we kind of need to do something there anyway. But I got the mighty John Deere down here for this, because that's going to go on the bale spear to take it up. And yeah, you can tell where I came in. A little soft. I just gotta be careful where I go. I'm not gonna go over there because that low spot's even worse. So I'll probably back up from where I'm at, go out the same tracks. Well, it's here. A little later than they said. Must be pushing 1 o'clock. Not a lot of wind yet, but been some hellacious thunder for the last 15-20 minutes, and the girls saw some lightning a little bit ago. So definitely time to get some things battened down while I can. And just like that, 1/2 inch in the gauge. It's done raining for a little bit. It hit here about the same time it hit Ron. Ron's like 10 or 12 miles that way. And I guess it hit Cornelius before it hit here. So, yay. But hey, got the ditch open back up along here. Move that gate down there just to get it out of the way. We don't need to walk through there. And that panel's still laying there just because it's over the top of the metal, and it'll help if we get the winds. And I think I'm done digging ditches for a little bit. Number 2 and I have been the last half hour or so getting a couple ditches opened up. Got part of the gutter on the back barn back on, so it's not running behind the freaking gutter and down into the barn and flooding the hay. That gutter outfit that did all of them. I'd like to band those boys. I wouldn't have any trouble. I get the whole works in there, the whole package, and cinch that band up tight. The gutter's on the machine shed. They didn't do that in one piece. They split it in the middle and put a splice. And this is the good side. Only the low spot's where that splice is, right over the front of the service truck. The back side, the only downspouts are at that end, and that's the high side of the back gutter. And the outfit that did the feed barn was a neighbor who used to live up the road. He was just a contractor, and ended up, deal came up where he bought a gutter machine. And his crew of Mexicans, they knew how to put a gutter on. They understood that water runs downhill, not uphill. And those, at least the one on the backside anyway, is all one piece, 84 feet or 96 feet long, whatever it is. And they got a different fastener system. They got a bracket that hooks onto the front lip, and then they put roofing screws in through the bracket in the back, so they're screwed in on an angle, which actually holds, unlike the old nail and ferrule crap. We don't have any trouble with those. But yeah, most of the rest of these, that one outfit did. Yeah, they never did figure out how to put gutters on. Anyway, I'm hoping what is laying out has enough weight on top of it if we do get the winds they're talking that we might get. They're actually saying they're going to be just to our south. But, You never know how it comes over that ridge over there. It lifts over that ridge and comes in. We're in the middle of it. Well, we'll find out. Still ain't done much for rain since earlier. It's raining up on the hill a little bit, but not bad. It's just a mist from what I can see. A little windy, but not bad. I mean, nothing like it hasn't been for a normal wind. 10, 15, 20 miles an hour maybe. I'm over here looking to see how the shift linkage is on this. It's like, okay, I can figure that out. Piece of square tubing runs back that's fabro-cobbled to fit over there. And slipping in like that, it has to pretty much stay in line with the stick. I'm gonna probably do pretty much the same thing on the other. I think that's about how it was, but part of what we had on there wasn't in good enough shape to keep when we cut it up, and so we didn't. This one, the stick comes through the floor, if you can see, and just got a yoke that the square tube goes into, and there's just a ball underneath right there for a pivot point. I'm not sure I want to do it quite like this one is. Probably a good thing we've never had to pull the valve cover off. It can probably roll out of there, maybe. Don't want to have to find out. And yes, the birds absolutely love it in here for some reason. I don't know why. So, anyway, now that I got to look at that, I'm going to go see if I can figure something out on the other one. Well, another round of wind coming through. There was one, just after I came in the shop, I guess. Another one coming through now. Just what it is. I went and looked at the other buggy, which you should already have seen that. So here's what I came up with. Rather than welding it on the end of that, because if you need to take it apart, you gotta get that stuff off if you want to. You don't have to, but if the spring breaks or whatever, you have to. So that heavy nut on top, I'm just gonna weld tabs up off of there for the shift linkage to hook to. Use the jam nut to adjust it where it needs to be, and hopefully that's going to hold it good. That is not my prettiest job there. 5/8 bolt's the biggest thing that would fit on there without being oversized. And you can't go oversized because, that's got to fit on. And it's not my straightest job either, but it's going to work. And I'm done for tonight. I'm still wet from earlier. It's 5:30 already. So put a few things away here. I already shut off my fancy heating system here. I'm hoping that it actually finally got my hat and coat. Yeah, hat's pretty good. At least I can put it on and not freeze my head off. Yeah, coat's still kind of wet. Maybe it'll be dry by morning. Anyway, that's my day. Hope you've all had a good Sunday. These winds and stuff are supposed to be around until like 5 a.m. So we'll see what's where in the morning. Not like I can do anything about it. Let it blow and deal with what happens. Kind of like last time we had some bad stuff and it tore some roof off. All you can do is make a couple phone calls and stay safe. So all of you out there that are in the middle of this windy crap, stay safe. And yeah, you're looking around with me just because I'm looking around to think what I didn't do yet. And I'm going to go in and get this up and hopefully end up with some dinner. God knows what that's going to be. Actually, I think we're having steak and taters tonight. I'm good with that. So thanks for watching, everybody.